Hello and welcome to OCL At the Movies, a podcast to discuss films available in the Ocean County Library catalog.
Hello and welcome to the debut podcast. I'm your host Lou Nymphos, joined by my co-host Mike Mahoney.
This podcast, we're going to talk about summer movies. We're going to do two parts of summer movies because there's so many great summer movies that we want to talk about. We pick one movie from Hoopla, which is a library service. We pick one movie from Canopy, which is another free library service. And then we pick a DVD that the library has. So if you have a library card, we have two great services, Hoopla and Canopy. Canopy has a ton of great foreign films and more like classics and more like Academy Award winners and stuff like that. And Hoopla has books and music and movies and graphic novels and all free with your library card. So if you're listening and you've never used these, come into any Ocean County branch and we'll get you set up. A tablet, a phone, a computer, TV, all different ways you can watch these great movies. So we decided to pick two movies that we were familiar with, and we both decided to pick a movie that we weren't familiar with, but we looked at lists. So Mike, why don't you tell me about the first movie you watched? And it was something you never saw before, right?
Yeah, Lou, sure. It's a movie called Mystic Pizza. And it takes place in the summertime or towards the end of summer, transitioning into fall. And I guess it caught my eye because I saw it was Matt Damon's acting debut, even though he plays a very small role in it. But he is in it nonetheless. But it was directed by Donald Petrie, which was his directorial debut. Filmed in 1988. It takes place in Mystic, Connecticut in the movie, but I believe when I read the filming took place in the surrounding areas.
Okay.
I don't think it was actually filmed in Mystic, Connecticut, but kind of right next door. So it's rated R. It's a romantic comedy drama, 1 hour and 44 minutes. Real good cast. It's got Julia Roberts.
That was probably one of her breakout roles, I would say.
I would think so. I think she was 21 when the movie came out. Vincent D'Onofrio, who just got done making Full Metal Jacket the year before, 1987. Annabeth Gish, who I believe was 16 years old when the movie was made.
17, shocking.
Right.
Yeah.
Lily Taylor, and as I said, Matt Damon's acting debut, and a gentleman named Adam Stork. Stork. I'd never heard of him before, and I think I looked at his movie credits, and I don't think he went on to do much, or maybe it was.
Nor did the other male lead, I would say. There were two, Vincent D'Onofrio was one, but then each of the girls, two are sisters.
Yes, two
and there's Lily Taylor, and they all work at this pizza place,
right.
Mystic Pizza.
Right.
And it's like a coming-of-age story of them, and they all have like a romance.
They're all different, right? They're all different.
Yeah, they all have a love interest, like that kind of propels the story as they're kind of like figuring out what they're going to do with their life.
Right.
You know?
Right. So, as Lou mentioned, it follows three young Portuguese-American waitresses, and they all work at this famous kind of, I don't want to say a hole in the wall, but a pizza place, a neighborhood pizza place called Mystic Pizza.
A hole in the wall is a fair description because a lot of times, too, they don't have a lot of business.
Right.
Even though it does seem busy, but they want to get this critic to come and taste the pizza, and he's real snooty.
Yep.
So that's another thread.
And two of them are sisters. So Julia Roberts, who's played by her name is Daisy in the movie, and she's the older sister. And then you have Kat, played by Annabeth Gish, who's the younger sister. And then they have a third friend named JoJo.
Yeah.
As the movie starts off, where JoJo's about to get married to Vincent D'Onofrio. I forget what his name is in the movie. Is it you remember?
I'm not sure.
I should have wrote it down. But anyway, not to say too much, but basically the wedding kind of gets canceled off.
It's the first scene.
It's the first scene.
First 2 minutes. Yeah.
And she, kind of, it's a lot to take in. She's going to get married. He wants to start a family. She likes him physically from a physical standpoint, but I guess she's not in love with him as much as he is her.
I think she is in love with him, but I think
she's
she
scared.
feels like she's too young. She doesn't want to settle down.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to have kids. She just wants to have fun. She's 21 at the oldest, so she wants to be with him, but she doesn't want the commitment. She doesn't want to be married. And it's usually role reversed. Vincent D'Onofrio wants the commitment, wants to be married, and doesn't like being used, basically.
Right.
So to me, that I found a very intriguing and probably the best thread out of the three. I found it the most entertaining because what I want to say is this movie is heavy. This is not like a fun summer movie. I didn't feel that way
You
at
felt
all.
more drama than more comedy.
I felt so.
Yeah, I can see-
Julia
yeah.
Roberts' character, I don't want to go into too much, but
Yeah.
she is with a rich person,
Right.
And she's kind of like poor. And then there's another one where it's a younger, vulnerable girl,
Right.
who is
Yeah, I'm going
with
to talk about that. Yeah.
an older man.
Right.
So it's like when you're watching this, these coming of age, it's not like. I mean, I guess it has like a somewhat happy ending, but you watch these girls,
Yeah.
all of them suffer.
Right. In one
So-
way or another. So, yeah, so as Lou said, like, Kat is the, so Julia Roberts' character, Daisy, is the older sister in the movie. And she's more like the rebel, kind of the free spirit, just wants to have fun. And she meets an older guy named Charles. And throughout the movie, I don't want to reveal too much, but they're kind of on and off again throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And then the younger sister, Kat, she's, I guess, probably just, they don't say her age, but I guess she's around 17, 18.
Yeah.
She just graduated high school. She's more of the intellectual type. She's an aspiring astronomer. She works part-time at the pizzeria, of course. I believe
She has four jobs.
Yeah, four
Yeah,
jobs.
4 jobs,
Works
yes.
at the Mystic Seaport,
Yes.
I believe. She
does
babysits.
It babysits, and then there was another thing too.
Yeah.
She did was it the planetarium?
Yes, planetarium. Yes, thanks.
She
Yeah.
presented planetarium like shows. Now she is going to Yale,
She is on partial scholarship. Yes, she's going
but
to
she's
Yale.
not going until the winter,
Right.
second semester. So
Right.
they make a point. So it's basically their journey.
Right.
But she ends up babysitting.
As a babysitting for a guy named Tim, who's probably in his 30s in the movie.
Yeah, mid to late.
And
Mid to late 30s. Yeah.
or maybe in early 30s. I don't know, but Tim, I guess he's involved in architecture. He's some sort of construction guy.
Yeah, he's refurbishing a house or
Yeah.
some building or something
Right.
like that.
And he has a young daughter. I don't know her age in the movie.
I
Maybe
think she's like
6 or 7. Yeah.
Mhm.
And the wife is away, either on business or family in England.
Yes.
So Tim, the guy's name is Tim, hires Kat Annabeth Gish to be a babysitter. And she finds out, they both, she shows him some astronomy stuff, they watch the stars together. And she finds out that he also went to Yale.
Yeah.
So she kind of develops a little crush on him, and he kind of, also feels the same way.
Yeah.
And they end up getting together, and then he ends up kind of like once the wife gets back in the picture, he kind of rejects her.
It's brutal.
And she's crushed.
Yeah, that's like this is the first time I'm seeing it too, and I would watch it once, but I can't see myself ever watching it again. I liked it and I thought it was good, but these girls there's some traumatic trauma
right.
that they suffer through, especially the Annabeth Gish character.
Right.
But it does have a positive outlook and like a happy ending. But
yeah,
and it's not anything bad per se. It's not like she has some terrible thing happen to her. It's just
right.
coming of age.
Right.
And, we're going to talk about this later with one of my picks, 500 Days of Summer.
Oh, yeah.
Where, a lot of times more relationships than not don't work out.
Right.
So, I think I like the most about it, too, that they made it like a little place in Connecticut. And it felt like a small town, like Mystic, like you said, shot around. So I think using that landscape added to the authenticity of the film.
Right. And I like the cultural aspect of it. It takes place around a Portuguese neighborhood. And it is true. I don't think Mystic, Connecticut really has that much Portuguese American population, but that surrounding area, those seaport towns, they do.
Funny that you mentioned it. Christina's grandparents were Portuguese, and they grew up in Rhode Island.
Okay.
So in that New England area.
Okay.
Yeah. Christina's, the last name was Pinheiro.
Okay.
And,
That sounds Portuguese.
yeah, she's half Portuguese, half Irish. So that's my wife.
Okay.
I liked it. I here again.
But you didn't love it.
I didn't love it. And when I think of like summer, I think of like fun summer movies. And this one I would not say, like when you look at lists, and the movie I'm going to talk about in a little holes, it was number one on the best. There was a list of 70 summer movies, and that was the number one. So I said,
Wow.
I want to watch it.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that
Yeah,
as
we'll
it
talk about
comes.
So that's a wrap for Mystic Pizza, and it's considered a cult classic by those who grew up in that time. I never heard of it before
Yeah.
until recently, but it's worth a watch. It's more drama than it is comedy.
It's a drama, and like I said, it's a movie that you watch once, and I think unless you find it relatable and enjoyable, I don't think you would watch it again. And that's on Hoopla, right, Mike?
That's on Hoopla, correct?
Yeah. So my Hoopla pick, was 500 Days of Summer. Came out in 2009, PG-13, hour and 35 minutes. And the director was Mark Webb, and it was his directorial debut.
Oh, really?
And he went on to direct the Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man
Wow.
2. And then the last thing he did was that 2025 live-action Snow White that got destroyed by critics. It stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zoe Deschanel. And the summary is, after being dumped by the girl he believes to be his soulmate, hopeless romantic Tom Hansen reflects on their relationship to try to figure out where things went wrong and how he can win her back. Nominated for a 2010 Golden Globe, Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy, and it lost to The Hangover. The budget was $7.5 million. It made $33 million in the U.S. and Canada and $61 million worldwide.
Pretty good.
So to me, I saw this movie when it came out, and
See it in the movies?
I did see it in the movies. And I would like to say that this is probably the most real relationship movie I feel like I've ever seen.
Yeah. I agree.
And it's here again, role reversed.
Mm-hmm.
Usually the guy doesn't want to settle down. He doesn't want the relationship, and the girl. In this case, Zoe Deschanel is just like effervescent. Everybody likes her. She's beautiful. She's attractive, and she just doesn't have any interest in a relationship.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's boss's secretary?
He works
in the movie?
They-
There's a writer.
Yeah.
No, Hallmark.
Hallmark, yeah.
Cards.
He works as he writes greeting cards, and she works in the office. I don't know if she's a secretary.
I think she's an assistant to the boss. Yeah.
Mhm. Clark Gray, who's
Yeah.
great in it.
Right.
And, so he's really one of these like pie in the sky, like
Believes in soulmates.
Yes, he believes-
needs a woman to be happy.
yes, and like I said, you just go through this, and the movie starts out with them broken up, so you watch. And it's called 500 Days of Summer because her name is Summer.
Right.
A lot of it does take, and there's another one. It's on every quintessential summer list. A lot of it does take place in the summer, but it's California, so you don't know when it takes place. And some days it's not the summer because it goes through different days, and you watch the ups and downs of this relationship, and you watch this guy he can't understand what he did wrong or why it's not working. And and this movie shows that sometimes there isn't a reason. Like nothing you could have done would have changed somebody's mind.
Yeah.
So I there's a scene that I was talking to Mike about the other day where he's going to a party and he's going to see the girl that he likes, Summer, and it shows the expectations and it shows the
In a split screen.
split screen the actual what happens and his expectations, and they're crushing. So I really, like I said, and it's so quirky, it's different, it's like an independent film. There's even like a dance sequence where they're all dancing in the street. It's so different, and I really just, like I said, I can't think of a movie that really shows people why sometimes relationships don't work out.
Right. And I think a lot of, men and even women can relate to this movie where you like somebody more than they are into you, and you're analyzing and overanalyzing everything they do.
Yes.
Or your mood depends on how they treated you.
Exactly.
I like the way she said hi to me. Did she, the way she smiled at me? And then you get this dopamine release and you feel good about yourself. You're happy.
Right.
But then unfortunately the opposite happens when, the person seemed like they weren't as friendly to me. And, even whether you're dating somebody or not,
Plus, too, when you're in a relationship like this and you want a relationship and they don't, then it's like you're trying to figure out ways to get this person to fall in love with you
and
or
it doesn't
want a
work,
relationship. And it's tragic. I think we've all been through it, and I think we've been through it both sides.
Yes.
There's been times that you don't want a relationship and somebody else does, and vice versa. But like I said, this one is unique, and I know him, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, from Third Rock from the Sun. He was one of the John Lithgow's kids, but I thought he was great in this, and I thought she was great. And if you haven't seen it, I would definitely check it out. Free on Hoopla, and we have it in the library too. So I loved it. It's here again. It's not like you're not thinking like summer fun. It's pretty heavy.
Yeah, pretty heavy.
But we'll get to some fun summer movies coming up, right, Mike?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's not all drama and sad stuff.
So what was your Canopy movie?
Canopy, I had a movie I have seen before called Summer School.
Great.
1987, rated PG-13, 1 hour and 37 minutes. Directed by Carl Reiner, who was Rob Reiner's father. And he also did The Jerk and Summer Rental with John Candy.
And which you haven't seen.
No, I have not seen Summer Rental. It's on my list.
That might be on part 2.
Yeah,
We'll have to see
I think it might be my pick for part 2.
Yeah.
But this Summer School is more of a romantic comedy, teen comedy. Got a good cast. Got Mark Harmon, who's is a big star on NCIS. Is that show still on? By the way,
I don't know. We talked about it before. We don't really know him from much else.
I just know him from Summer School.
I know him from a baseball movie called Stealing Home. But yeah,
more so than this movie.
No, Summer School was my wheelhouse, and I just want to say that the movies we're doing, these '80s movies, a couple of them, it hit us where it should have hit us. We were the right age, and we were, so.
We both graduated high school in the 90s, but of course we were still in school in the 80s. So this movie's like maybe if you were kids that graduated in 1987, 88. So these are kids that are 7, 8 years older than us. Right. But still, it hits close to home. Yeah. So it's got Christy Alley in it. It's got Robin Thomas, who I thought was Steve Carell at first because he didn't look alike, but it's not because Steve Carell would have been too young. Gary Riley, who has a role in Stand By Me, which we're going to talk about later. Courtney Thorne-Smith, who went on to star in Revenge of the Nerds Part 2 and Melrose Place. And Dean Cameron, who made a lot of good movies. He played the pizza delivery guy in Men at Work.
Yeah, we were just talking about another movie that's the foil to Summer School, Ski School, where he plays, they go skiing. So if you like this, you're going to like that, because it's like a some winter version of.
And the movie takes place in L.A., in a high school that's pretty much on the beach. They didn't say where in L.A., and basically, Mark Harmon is a phys ed teacher. Like a fun-loving, doesn't take life too seriously gym teacher, and his name is Mr. Shoop. That's all. I'll always remember him as Mr. Shoop whenever I see him. And school is let out, and in the beginning of the movie, the vice principal, who's played by Robin Thomas, who's kind of a jerk in the film, doesn't like Mark Harmon's character. He is giving these pink slips out to these students that they have to take remedial English over the summer, and the one guy in the movie, I think it was actually played by Carl Reiner, is the, what was his name in the movie?
He wins the lottery.
Yeah, he wins the lottery. So you see in the beginning of the movie, he's doing all these scratch-offs. Yeah. So he's supposed to teach summer school to these kids. And you see him doing all these scratch-offs with lottery tickets, and he actually wins. He wins $50,000, and he quits on the spot. Yeah. So then the funny scene is you see in the parking lot, Mr. I think his name is Mr. Gill in the movie. Robin Thomas's character, the vice principal, is going around as the teachers are leaving for their last day of school. The teachers know what's up, that he's going to ask them to teach summer school. So they're all kind of like just pulling away out of the parking lot really fast. Then he kind of corners Mark Harmon.
He's going to Hawaii.
Who has a trip planned to Hawaii with his girlfriend, and he kind of blackmails Mark Harmon's character, saying, "Hey, look, you're up for tenure. Yep. If you don't do this summer school with these kids,
you're done.
You're done." And remember, Mark is a phys ed teacher. He doesn't know how to teach. He's just remedial English.
Yes, he's very self-aware.
Right, he's very self-aware, absolutely. So, as I said, Gil threatens to fire Shoop unless his students pass, this test at the end of the class. So basically, starts off with he's not. He tells the kids, "Look, I'm not a real teacher. I'm a phys ed teacher." And you have all these different kind of characters in the class. You have a student named Pam, who's played by Courtney Thorne-Smith, who's like a surfer. Yes. Kind of a dreamer. She's always like just staring out the window.
Yep, waiting to catch that wave.
You have a guy that's always sleeping in the class. Larry.
We don't know why.
Yeah, we don't know why. And a football jock named Kevin, a pregnant Rhonda.
Yeah. Smith.
Yep. The geeky Alan Ekian, who I think lives with his grandmother. Right. And Denise Green, who we find out is dyslexic and is a horrible driver. Yes. And then you have the two friends, Dave and Chainsaw,
who are really into horror.
Right, they're into horror movies, and they're kind of slackers and the pranksters and everything. And then we have an Italian exchange student that comes in and who's in the movie who wants to learn English.
And then there's a guy who we don't see him much because he goes to the bathroom.
He goes to the bathroom.
Right. Yeah. But here again, I don't want to give too much of it away, but what I liked about it was we saw it as kids, and when we watch it again, it's nostalgia. There's so many good scenes. The characters are really well defined and fleshed out. Right. And basically, he needs to get these people to pass English. Right. So he cuts a deal with them.
Right, yeah, exactly. He cuts a deal. So the first few days, he's letting them slack off because he doesn't know what to do. He's taking them to the zoo, taking them to the beach.
Yep.
And then somebody, I think the Alan Ekian's character's grandmother finds out because he developed an allergy at the amusement park, petting zoo. So then, he kind of changes his tone, Mark Harmon. He says, look, he does a complete 180, comes dressed as a suit.
Yeah.
Before this, he was coming in flip-flops and shorts, the carefree teacher.
Right.
And he's like, look, we got to learn English. But, the student's like, well, you got to cut us a deal. So he kind of makes without revealing too much, he kind of makes an individual deal with every single student there as a favor for them to, to give back and learn.
And that's like the gist of the movie.
Right.
So you're watching them, getting ready for this exam, and they're trying to participate while they are each getting one of these favors from Mark Harmon. And they range from all these different things.
Helping with the driving, helping with football.
Yes.
Lamaze with the pregnant girl, right. And not to reveal too much, but the movie does end, and it does have a happy ending at the end.
Yes.
Where things, work out.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a feel-good movie. You root for the people. It definitely captures summer. Out of the movies, like this is a summer movie.
Yeah.
It takes place. You feel like
it's definitely a summer movie. Yeah.
Yes, and it's upbeat. It's fun.
Sun, surf, beach, everything.
Yeah. So I saw it as a kid, and I just watched it again, and I like it, and it's something I'll watch every couple of years.
Yeah, I agree.
I really enjoy it.
Yep.
And my choice for Canopy is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's One Crazy Summer.
Oh, classic.
1986, PG, running time 1 hour and 33 minutes. Director is Savage Steve Holland, and he did 3 movies. He did Better Off Dead, which is his first movie. He did One Crazy Summer, and then he did one called How I Got Into College. The first 2 had John Cusack and were really good. The third one had Corey Parker, and it just wasn't as good.
I never saw it.
Yeah, I'll lend it to you. So this one stars John Cusack, a young Demi Moore, Joel Murray, who is one of Bill Murray's brothers.
That's right.
Bobcat Goldthwait, Curtis Armstrong, and this is the debut of Jeremy Piven. This is his acting debut.
That was his acting debut?
Yes.
I did not know that.
So the summary is an aspiring teenage cartoonist and his friends come to the aid of a singer trying to save her family property from developers. The budget was $9 million. It grossed $13 million, but it crushed on VHS. So it wasn't a big hit, but it became a cult classic on VHS and on DVD. And here again, this is a movie that I watched a ton. I came out when I was like 9 or 10.
You can watch it over and over again.
Yes, they're so easy to watch, but it's the most irreverent and bizarre humor.
Yes.
Like I can't explain it. You have to watch it. It's bizarre. Like the scenes in it, like the different things. It almost feels like a bit of a spoof.
Yeah.
But it's so good. And if you haven't seen it, I don't know what it would be like to watch it now for the first time.
Right.
But I loved it. What did you think of it, Mike?
I as a kid, I don't think I saw it in the theaters, but yeah, it's one of those timeless classics that's just like silly fun.
Yeah, and it's like the plot doesn't even really matter. Basically, John Cusack graduates high school, and
he's like the underdog.
Yeah,
who's the bull?
He's
the guy who plays
Hoops.
the bully? Hoops.
Yeah,
what's his name?
I forget his name.
Teddy.
Teddy, and he's the bully. But basically, he goes to Nantucket. He's just not doing anything for the summer. And he meets Demi Moore, and she's going to lose her grandfather's
aspiring
house.
musician, right?
She's going to lose the house, and he's going to try to help her and the friends. And then there's a boat race, and there's a regatta.
Yes.
But the story doesn't really matter. Like the story's fine, but it's all the jokes and the one-liners and the puns, and it's just a really, really smart, funny, entertaining movie. But just a couple facts. According to Savage Steve Holland, he and John Cusack did not get along during filming. Cusack was disappointed with their previous collaboration, Better Off Dead, which came out in 1985, and was angry with Holland. According to Holland, Cusack finally lightened up after the film received good reviews, but never spoke to Holland again.
Wow.
And another thing was, Savage Steve Holland did the animation for the film, and he did the animation for the first film too. And in both the John Cusack character, he's Hoops in this one, and in Better Off Dead, he's Lane Meyer. They're artists, and throughout the movie, there's animation. And in this one, he was upset that Siskel and Ebert roasted Better Off Dead. So there's 2 animated bunnies. They get blown up at the end of the film. They look like Siskel and Ebert, and he blows them up on purpose. So,
wow.
yeah.
And back to Better Off Dead, that was
Yes.
1985. And One Crazy Summer is not considered a sequel.
No.
They're standalone films, but I read something that they're considered a semi-sequel in a way, which
They're
I've never heard that
completely
term
different
before.
characters. Like Curtis Armstrong, best known as Booger from
Yeah.
Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
He appears in both, but as different characters.
Right.
John Cusack appears as he's the star in both. But they both have the same feel, and it's one is summer and one is winter.
Right. Right.
And you can, if you are fans, like we're fans, and we go back and forth on which one is better.
Right.
And in this case, I believe that Better Off Dead has a better villain, like a better foil for Hoops.
Yeah.
Teddy is a better bad
He
guy.
is. He is.
But the love interest, I think, is better
In Better Off Dead.
Better Off Dead.
Yeah.
Monique,
Yeah.
I think, is better than Cassandra.
Right.
But if you haven't seen these, I implore you to watch them.
Right.
And if you don't like them, watch them again.
Yeah, they're great.
When I talk to people and they haven't seen them or enjoyed them, and I don't know what it would be like if you saw this for the first time and you're 25 or 35. Like, it hit us at the right time, because we
Right.
were like 10 years old.
But for those of you who have seen it and want to be taken back to
Yes.
the great 80s, it's available
Exactly.
on Canopy.
Yeah. So definitely check it out. And then we got another great movie from the 80s, and this one is like seminal for me.
Yeah. One of my top 10 overall.
Yes.
And also takes place in the summer of 1959 in Oregon. Stand By Me.
Stand By Me. This is Rob Reiner.
Rob Reiner. It wasn't his directorial debut, was it? No.
But I would say it's one of his best. I know he did Spinal Tap. That was
Spinal
really
Tap,
good.
and he did. I'll get to it.
Harry Met Sally.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done
Yeah.
a bunch of
Yeah.
things.
And so it's based on it's a rated R. It's an hour and 29 minutes. But I saw that today. I was like, wow, it's only an hour and a half long. I thought it was like a 2-hour movie. It's not.
Yeah.
It's only
It
an hour and a half.
flies by though.
Yeah, and it's based on Stephen King's novel or short story called The Body, and it's got a really, really good cast. You got Richard Dreyfuss, who pretty much starts off telling the story. It starts off in 1985, and Richard Dreyfuss is a writer, and then it's like the movie. He's telling the story. Let me take it back to Labor Day 1959 with me and my three friends. Corey Feldman is in it, who
Yes.
did a lot of great movies in the 80s. Goonies and License to Drive and Lost Boys and you name it.
Yes.
Will Wheaton, he was in Toy Soldiers, but
I
don't
know
really-
him for that, and he was big in some Star Trek.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, he was very good in Stand By Me, but didn't really see him too much. River Phoenix, of course, who's had a great career going, and his life was tragically cut short, I believe, at 20 or 21. Jerry O'Connell,
Yes.
who is still on TV today, and
He was on some show called Sliders, which
Yeah.
I never watched. But I was saying to Mike earlier that, to me, these four people, the friendship,
Yeah.
their camaraderie, I think it's the best thing that each one of these people have ever done.
Yeah.
And it makes the movie why it's so special.
Yeah.
Um,
And you also have Kiefer Sutherland in it, who plays a great villain in
Yeah.
the movie. He's like the lead villain. And Casey Siemaska, remember him?
Yep.
Yeah, he's if you've seen Young Guns 1 and 2, he's in both of those.
3 O'Clock High is
3 O'Clock
one
High,
that I'm
which I have to see that
familiar
one.
with. And then you also mentioned the guy from Summer School.
Gary Riley, who is he's one of the villains, one of the gang members.
Yes, he's friends with Casey Siemasko. And
Yeah,
part of the
he's
Kiefer Sutherland
the
gang.
same guy that was
So,
in
What's
one.
the premise of the story, Mike?
So basically, it's about 4 kids. They're all 12 years old, and a kid from a neighboring town called Ray Brower. None of them
Yes.
knew them. Went missing.
He went missing. Yeah.
And I believe Kiefer Sutherland's gang, and they actually found the body, found the kid's body, but they couldn't report it to the police because they had stolen a car.
Right.
So the 4 boys, I think, one of them's older brother. I think it's Jerry O'Connell's,
Vern.
Vern. Yeah,
That's
Vern's
Jerry O'Connell, yeah.
Vern's brother, and also I believe River Phoenix's brother, Billy.
He's like under the porch.
Yeah, under the porch,
Yeah.
and he hears them talking about it, and they go off on this adventure. I don't
It's
know
a
how.
quest.
Yeah, it's a quest,
It's a quest.
and I forget how long. I mean, they don't really say how long the trip
It was
is.
a couple days.
Yeah, it was like a couple days, and they're on the quest for this missing body of Roy Brower,
Yes. Yeah.
and they run into all these different things that happen where they have to they almost got run over by a train, and
There's a lot of great
Yeah,
scenes.
a lot of
There's a
great
lot of
scenes.
memorable scenes. And what you were talking about, Richard Dreyfuss is a writer, too.
Yeah.
So in the story, he's young Will Wheaton.
yes,
And he tells stories throughout
Right.
the movie as well. There's a very famous scene in
Yeah, he acts as a narrator in the
pie
film.
eating contest.
Yes.
That he creates, the Will Wheaton character creates, and I just feel like they got it right. But here again, I just want to preface that Mike and I were 10 years old when this movie came out,
Right.
so and we're boys, so this movie was made for us.
Yes.
You know, it definitely hits us. So here again, like my wife watched it, she loved it. I had a coworker of mine watch it. She was younger and she was female and she liked it, but it wasn't as special to us, to her as it was to us, because this was like, it's our wheelhouse, you know. So
And
Go
to add to not just the great theme, the great acting and everything, but the soundtrack.
oh yeah, you
It's
were mentioning
also
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
We have the song "Every Day" by Buddy Holly and the Crickets, because he was, before he went out on his own, he was part of a band called the Crickets. Yakety Yak by the Coasters, Great Balls of Fire by Jerry Lewis, and of course the song "Stand By Me"
Yeah.
by Ben E. King.
And that song became really popular
Yeah.
at the time when that came out.
Yeah.
Like that had a
Yeah.
revival.
Yeah.
You know, I remember that. Yeah, it's a Stephen King. A lot of times you think Stephen King, you think horror, but he's done some great non-horror things. And it's a great movie. And it's here again, like the last three that we talked about: One Crazy Summer, Summer School, Stand By Me. They're nostalgic movies that like
for
are
us, yeah.
great from the 80s
Right.
that I can't say enough good things about. So, and this one we have on DVD.
We have on DVD.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen it, you got to check it out, because these movies, Summer School, One Crazy Summer, Stand By Me, very easy to watch. I mean, Stand By Me has some like very
It's heavy.
heavy themes,
Yeah.
but to me, I always find it enjoyable.
Yeah,
You know, I don't. There are some heavy scenes. You know, Teddy comes from a family where there's like his dad is broken and all these different things, but it like I said, the characters are so well defined, they're so unique, they're so memorable, and their camaraderie is what I really think makes the
I
movie.
agree, the camaraderie. And I forgot to mention that John Cusack actually plays a small role
Yeah,
in
right.
this film.
Yeah.
And I was checking the circulation stats yesterday that we have, and Stand By Me has high circulation stats through the library. So people are still,
Yeah.
I don't know what age demographics checking it out, but you know, it's still popular to check out and watch. So
Yeah.
don't miss it.
No, absolutely not. And my last movie that we're going to talk about it was a DVD pick, and it was Holes. And like I said, I picked this movie. It's a super famous book. It's a super famous YA novel by Louis Sikar, and it was number one on a list of summer movies. And it's PG, which I don't think it should be PG.
No.
And it's a Disney movie. So when I saw the PG and the Disney, I was expecting something a little bit lighter, to be honest.
Is Disney even allowed to have anything rated over PG? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think
I guess
they've
they-
created
I
some
guess they-
R-rated movies.
Yeah.
It's like
They
the
have,
Disney
yeah.
umbrella.
Yeah.
You know, it's an hour and 57 minutes. It's directed by Andrew Davis, who did The Fugitive. Like, he's a big-time director. And it was written by Louis Sikar. So he wrote the screenplay, because after I watched the movie, I was like, God, I wonder who wrote the screenplay. I wonder if Louis Sikar was happy, because I can't imagine the book being like the movie, but he wrote the screenplay. It stars Shia LaBeouf. It's his acting debut, and he's very good in it. Sigourney Weaver, John Voight. And a summary is: a wrongfully convicted boy is sent to a brutal desert detention camp where he joins the job of digging holes for some mysterious reason. The budget was $20 million. It grossed $67 million in
Wow.
U.S. and Canada. The opening weekend, it grossed $16.3 million. And it had a worldwide gross of $71 million. And just a little fun fact, Sigourney Weaver wanted to be in the film because Holes is her daughter's favorite book. So
Okay.
I never read the book, but
Yeah.
this movie is 2 hours of children getting tortured.
Pretty
Like,
much.
when I say these kids are suffering, they're in the middle of the desert in Texas. So
But it hasn't rained, what, forever? Like,
well, there's a backstory. There's a whole nother thread, which is very heavy. It's very dark, where there's a Patricia Arquette
right.
and this guy Dule Hill. It goes back to like the 18th.
Latvia. I think it starts off in Latvia.
Yeah.
And then there's a family curse.
Yes, there's
Yeah.
a curse where it'll never rain because of this thing that happened. And I don't want to go too into
Right.
it, but there are some extraordinarily heavy themes with the backstory, because there's an African American male and a white woman, and they have
Yeah,
a
that's right.
friendship, and it's not accepted by the town.
Right.
And this is in like the 1800s,
Right.
but we're going to flash forward to present day, where Shia LaBeouf I'm not saying too much because he finds a pair of sneakers. They like hit him on the head. That's how the movie starts. He's walking down the
He
street,
hits it on the head.
and these sneakers come and hit him on the head.
Yeah.
So he goes to jail because they're autographed. I don't know what the guy's Rick Fox.
Rick Fox.
But
right.
I don't know what his name was. But
yeah, right.
they donated him to an orphanage.
Right.
So then he stole from the orphanage. He basically got 18 months in. It's absolute hell.
Yeah.
It's exactly
I think
what
he
it
has a
is.
choice between prison.
Yes.
The judge says you can go to prison or you can go to this camp. And he had no idea what he was in for at the camp.
The kids are so mean to him at
Yeah.
the camp. Every kid is awful to him except for one. This kid's 0.
Right.
And they have to dig a 5x5 hole every day in the middle of the desert. And John Voight plays this terrible like guard. And then there's the warden who we don't see for a while.
Right.
We don't know who the warden is.
Right.
But they're awful too. And then the doctor, Tim Blake Nelson. These kids are being tortured. And I read that like, oh, it's supposed to be whimsical and things like that.
Yeah.
I didn't see it that way.
No.
I saw kids suffering. Like they don't even want to give them water.
It should have been PG-13 easily, you know.
It's funny because I was talking to a patron and she was like, "Oh, that's my boy's favorite movie." And I was like, "What am I missing?" Like I would never watch it again.
No.
And it didn't remind me of summer because he's in 18 months. I don't know if this is October or January. Like it's the middle of the desert.
It's very hot, so
It's very
it gets hot in Texas.
Yeah. But they purport that, they want to let a kid die. They don't even care about him.
The kid runs away or somehow or screws up, and then they don't care.
They want to delete the record. So it's so dark. Now it does, of course, have a Disney ending.
Yeah.
But when you're watching it, I don't know. I struggled through it. And also too, I mentioned this to you too earlier, like Shia LaBeouf is supposed to, by the end of the movie, have a strong relationship with these kids that bully him for most of the movie. Yeah. And they never have those moments where they become friends. Right. So to me,
they do warm up to him a little bit,
but not, they torture him.
Yeah.
The only one that cares about him is Zero.
Yeah.
Who is a kid that was homeless. And
his story is really sad.
His story is really sad. So there's so much going on with the backstory that deals with race and inequality, and then I don't know. I wasn't laughing. I didn't find it entertaining. Yeah. And you asked me about they have these lizards.
Oh yeah, right? The lizards. Yes.
So those lizards are fake. They're not real.
They're deadly in the movie.
Yeah, yellow-bellied spotted lizard or something. There's only 2 lizards in the United States that are deadly. It's like the Gila monster and a beaded dragon or something like that.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's such a weird movie. To me, there's no rewatchability. I would never watch it again.
Yeah, I liked it, but I didn't like it as out of the 6 movies that we cover here. It's probably my least favorite.
Yes,
I think if I saw it as a teenager, because there's a sad story. It's seeing these kids suffer, but there is an adventure side to it and a happy ending, of course. But I think I would have liked it more if I saw it as a teenager as opposed to an older adult.
Yeah, I kind of wish that maybe the first half would have been struggling, and then the second half is like the happy ending. But the happy ending seems to just get tacked on in the last 10 minutes. So you watch kids suffer.
Right.
So not fun summer for me. But here again, like I really should probably read the book because the book is considered like a classic.
Who was the author of the book?
Louis Sakar.
Okay.
And the tagline for the movie was like they finally made the movie from the book or something like that, like saying like this is the book. So this book was popular at the time, and maybe the book's better. Maybe it has more of that. Because I was reading, like, people were saying it's supposed to be whimsical. Right. Almost like a Willy Wonka or something like that.
Definitely not.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And like I said, with Disney and PG, I thought it was going to be a lot less heavy. And, wow.
Shia LaBeouf, though, I have to say, give hats off to him. He was for his acting debut. What was his acting debut?
Yes.
He was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's interesting to cast him in the lead as the star, but he was the saving grace of the movie to me, him and Zero. Because I felt like a lot of the adult characters were too one-dimensional. They were too evil. They were John Voight, Tim Blake Nelson, and Sigourney Weaver. They were so unlikable that, I don't want to give anything away, but they get theirs in the
They
end.
do.
But
They do. But now, wasn't Shia LaBeouf involved with Disney somehow before he made this movie? Or like I know.
I don't
Was he
know.
one of the Mickey Mouse Club or something like that?
That's a good question. I don't know.
How does he get a lead role for Disney? You know,
It's a good question.
I'll have to look that up.
But maybe, the director or the casting agent or the writer,
Right.
like they might have known him. Like I'm not super familiar with his career, but I know he went on to be in Indiana Jones and he was
Fury.
in Transformers and he was in a movie called Disturbia and Eagle Eye. Like he made a bunch of good movies. He's in a movie that I really like that I maybe will do for the second half, the Peanut Butter Falcon, which is fantastic. That's with him and Dakota Johnson, and that is a great movie. And it's feel good. This one, it's feel good at the end. But I'm telling you, if you like watching people, if you like watching kids get tortured, then this is the movie for you because these kids are suffering. It is so hot, and it is so miserable.
Right.
I just keep thinking.
And there's no, and as Lou said, like Sigourney, the three characters,
Yes.
John Voight, Sigourney Weaver, and the other guy,
Yeah.
they're just sadistic.
They're sadistic, exactly. And these kids would be dying of dehydration,
Right.
and they would be in the hospital. And it's supposed to be funny. And I don't know, like you said, if I was a teenager, I probably would have found it funny.
Yeah.
But now as an
Right.
adult, I'm
Yeah.
like, well, not so much. So that's part one of our summer movie podcast. And we're going to come back next month with a second part, and we're going to do the same thing. We're both going to pick a movie we haven't seen,
Right.
and we're both going to pick a couple movies we have seen. And we'll be back next month to talk with you. I'm your host, Lou Nemphos.
And Mike Mahoney, a librarian here in Manchester.
And thank you for listening to OCL At the Movies.
Thank you for listening to OCL At the Movies. All titles mentioned in today's episode are available through the Ocean County Library in digital and physical formats, free with your library card. Until next time, happy viewing!